Was it about Alabama?
LSU Tigers, #1. Go Tigers.
And the next 4 years, I'm going to Denver University.
Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977. Now, here's D Squared.
Okay, once again, congratulations, Coach. Give us an overview, please.
Yeah, great game, great night for our program. Starts and ends on the mound, winning baseball, and two big left-handers here executed at a really, really high level. Proud of Nate. Maybe a surprise, from a starter, but not a surprise performance. Every game he's pitched in this year, I think we've only lost one time that he's pitched the entire year, and I look for those things. He did a great job executing, and then, Riley at this point is probably one of the most experienced pitchers of pitching in this ballpark and having success. Did his deal. Great performance by Dylan at the top of the lineup. We did just enough against, in my opinion, one of the two best pitching staffs in college baseball, and to beat them 4 times this year is a great accomplishment for us because of the respect that I have for Tony and how well they recruit and the Tennessee program. So wrap that one up and on to tomorrow.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for the student athletes first, and we'll go back here first. I saw your hand.
This one's for Dylan. Miguel Paredes Reyes.
Name and affiliation.
LSU Tiger TV. Dylan, you were 0-for-3 yesterday. You just barely missed out on a homer earlier in this game. How did it feel like to finally hit that homer in the 8th inning?
It felt good. It was pushing some of the wind was pushing some balls back into play today, but it was good to kind of just get one out at the right moment and put us up a couple more runs in the 9th to just extend the lead. So it felt good. Just a new day, and you went out there and do what I do.
Go for Leah here.
Leah Van, Baton Rouge Advocate. Nate, you told me the other day that you were here watching your friend David pitch for Oklahoma last year. So what was kind of your reaction today when you got the start on the mound at the College World Series?
It was cool. About it. Simple. I can't remember what he did, but I know he dominated his, so I had to at least dominate today, or he'd have the upper hand. Brag about it. So I don't know. I think he punched out like 15. Yeah.
Okay, over here in the middle.
Grant Sastre in the Valley Shook. I know you and Riley are roommates. What do you guys do during when you guys have time off from baseball?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah,
literally
chill.
nothing.
Yeah. Maybe watch some movies. That's about it.
Well, that doesn't say much. Back here. No, up here. Yeah.
Go 247. Just talk us through. Obviously you guys go 9 innings and shut them out. It was a very good offense that you guys faced tonight. Just start with Nate and then Riley. Just what was working for you guys on the mound tonight?
The changeup was really working with for me. I know with the wind blowing in and how hard it is to hit a ball out of here. On a normal day, I was just like I'd get a 2-0 changeup call and I'd just throw it down the middle and say let him put it in play, because you've seen some balls hit today that were probably 108 off the bat, and they were cut at the warning track. So I just pitched with confidence, had confidence in my defense behind me.
Yeah, the big park definitely played in my confidence, just to be able to fill up the zone and trust my pitches for the weak contact. And even if they got into it, it's really hard to hit it out of the park. So, yeah, I was throwing all 4 pitches and yeah, just trust my defense.
Leah.
Riley, you faced a tough situation there. I can't remember which inning, when the bases loaded and you got that weak ground out to first. What was going through your mind, and what was kind of your game plan in that moment?
Never a doubt, really. I knew I can get out of that. I've been in that situation before, and I just know to fill up the zone and trust my defense behind me. That's what happened, and I got out of it.
Get back over here. No.
Jack DeLongshot with foul pole for both of you guys. Worked into a little bit of a jam in the 5th and the 7th inning. Can you speak to Alex Milazzo? To me, maybe the play of the game. He blocked up a ball in the dirt in the 5th and the 7th for both of you. That really saved the run. You talked about trust, maybe the trust in him and Travinsky, obviously, behind the plate, but how huge is it to have those guys as your backstop?
Jack, you said both. They got 3 up here. Which ones? Okay, pitchers. Nate, you start. Nate, you start.
9th inning.
Yeah, it feels good to have somebody back there you can trust. Throw an 0-2 pitch, you don't want to leave it too over the plate, so sometimes you got to bounce it. And with him back there, or both of them, I have full trust in them.
Riley?
Yeah, it's just a confidence thing. And when I need to get the ball down in the zone, I just trust that if I spike it, he's a wall back there, or both of them's a wall. And so, yeah, I can execute pitches better.
Okay, we got one up here. Do you still? No, did you have one? Okay. Go to Leah here, then we'll go to Matt.
Nate, when exactly did you find out you were starting today, and what was your reaction?
Coach texted me at 8:56. I didn't respond until 11:10. I was sleeping in a little bit, so I think I just texted him, I'll give it all I got.
Yeah, I can confirm the time lapse.
Okay, Matt.
Matt Tallery, World Baseball Network. Dylan, what was just the composure you had at the plate today? 2 for 4 day, let alone leading off the game with a big walk that sparked Peloso's RBI single for the first run of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing the ball pretty good today. It's a great pitcher on the mound today. He's going to be a big leaguer for a long time, I believe, in the future. So, but I mean, I had confidence in myself, and I was going up there and, giving it my best shot. And, just to draw the walk, I mean, I have confidence in all the guys behind me. So, I feel like if I get on base, those guys are going to score me at any point. So, just, my mental mindset thing is just, go up there and give it my best shot. And it's a new at-bat every single time.
We'll go to Grant here.
This is a question for Nate. I'm aware that you were a starter at your junior college back in Oklahoma. How much does that prepare you for this moment right now?
It prepared me a lot. My first year I came out of the pen, which was the first time in my career. High school I started all 4 years. Got to junior college, and we had 3 pitchers topping out at 100, and they all started, so there's me. So I learned how to pitch out of the stretch, and then the second year I took over because they all left, got picked up or drafted. And that really helped me figure out how to throw even a changeup. I didn't throw a changeup in high school, so really the last year helped me with the changeup. And then I'd say today, the changeup is probably what helped me the most.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, Dylan, just towards the end of this game, do you guys feel like you kind of found, a little bit of something offensively? I mean, it looked like just you guys were able to kind of get a little bit more consistency at the plate, I guess.
Yeah, I think all around we had good at bats. Really, sticking to our plan. We weren't really chasing as much, but I think towards the end we were definitely stringing some good ABs together, and we were able to scratch a few more runs. So that was definitely good, and helped these guys out a lot.
Okay, Matt, this will be okay. Well, that'll do it for the players. Thank you, guys, and get ready for tomorrow. Who will be the hardest in the water?
Gold and white. Gold and white.
All white?
Gold and white.
Okay, that's good. Okay, we'll start with Leah.
I know you've said that Nate pitches in a lot of games that y'all win in, but what else went into giving him the start today? And then were there ever any thoughts about taking him out earlier?
Trust in the competitor. and this is a big deal if you haven't been here before. I think our team's handled it great, honestly, and I knew he would handle it well. I knew he would throw strikes. Saw some things in the matchup that I liked. Saw some things in previous games here just throughout the tournament that I liked, that I thought he could be effective. The thought really was 3 innings, 60 pitches. My initial target was 12 hitters, and he obviously accomplished a lot more than that.
Okay, back here.
Jay, Wilson Hunter from The Advocate here in the back. Like you said, 3 innings, 60 pitches. All of a sudden, you're in the 5th. He's still going, and you kind of have a leverage situation there. You went out to the mound and decided to keep him in the game. What went into that call there, and what did you tell him in that moment?
Yeah, I just wanted to check on him in terms of the fatigue level and then the heartbeat level. And you can see he doesn't get too wound up or rattled over anything. Just felt like he could make a pitch to, I believe Inslee was up at that time. And he did. He got him off the end of the barrel for the fly ball to right field. And just trust level. And felt like he had enough in the tank. I mean, he'd obviously been throwing well. And then another big thing was he went out and got another full inning after that. And that really shortened the game, which, when you're in this side of the bracket, you need that. And, if you're going to have a chance to do something, you need a performance like Nate gave us tonight. I'm really proud of him.
Okay, we've got Mike here.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. In February, you said the guys that were playing in March may be different than the guys that were playing in June. You just alluded to it. How big is it to have somebody step up into a role that maybe they hadn't previously shown they could do something?
Yeah, it's really big. And this tournament, you always find 1 or 2 of those. I just don't see it as like a Cinderella thing because he's one of the most important parts of our pitching staff. I mean, he was down with a sore shoulder beginning of conference, and that was right through Arkansas, Tennessee. I did not feel very comfortable about that because he was a huge part of it. And then there was a little bit of working his way back. The pitchability, lended you to believe he could start. I think it was a key outing was when we extended him at the SEC tournament against South Carolina, and we got him to 63 or 64 pitches. Had a good outing in a regional against Oregon State. And then fortunately in the Super Regional, we won in 2 games, but he was kind of that piece that was going to be a part of a game 3 if we needed it. So super job tonight, and maybe that time off allowed him to do what he did tonight.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Glenn West, Go 247. Do you feel like the offense really started to find itself a little bit here at the end of this game after, I guess, a couple rough innings? Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, these guys have played so good for so many games this season and set a standard of scoring runs and hits and on-base percentage and slugging that when you run into this park with the wind blowing in, shadows, and then Drew Beam, you heard the best hitter in college baseball, call him a major leaguer. And then that staff we saw last night that we'll see the next 2 days, not going to be easy. You're going to have to win 5-0. And the game changes a little bit in that regard. And I thought they kept with it. I didn't feel like we got discouraged. I didn't feel like we stopped competing, and that was just enough. That second run was big where we got the leadoff double by Trey. Gavin laid down a nice drag to move him over, and they threw it away. It gave us a little bit of breathing room. Then we strung together some good at-bats. Again, that's off Seth Halverson, who's throwing 100 miles an hour. You're not going to score 10 in this environment. And so I'm proud of the way we kind of grinded it out, and then the 2 pitchers did a great job to make that just enough.
Okay, right here.
Miguel Paredes Reyes, LSU Tiger TV. Coach, at first you had Pearson and Money in the pen. What made you change your mind and go with Cooper instead?
Well, I didn't have Pearson in the pen because he was playing left field. That's okay. Blake had been throwing the ball really, really well. He was definitely part of the plan tonight. I think I didn't feel like they were seeing Nate well, and I think Riley is about as comparable and close to Nate as possible. And I wanted to stay with that look because they were in between. And, when you're pressing a little bit, when you're in an elimination game and you're trying to chase runs late, he's the type of pitcher that if you give him an inch, he can take a mile, and he did what he did tonight.
Okay, Mike.
Just Trey Morgan, kind of what's he been to this team over the last 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, phenomenal. He's playing his best ball. I mean, I know he's had a great career, so I don't want to minimize the impact. I mean, but he's playing his best baseball right now, and just one of those guys. When you need him the most, you get the most. And he's one of those guys that you could throw on a big league diamond right now, full stadium, and he could go out there and give you 3 or 4 quality at bats. And that's what he's doing for us. Obviously, playing exceptional first base. But yeah, the NCAA tournament, he's been spectacular.
Okay, any more questions for Jay? You got one in the back.
Jay, you alluded to this, of course, that getting out of the loser's bracket, but not just the number of games that you have to have guys go deep. And so now that Nate has done that and ate up so many innings, how do you feel about what you have left in the pitching staff for the next 2 days, potentially, when you go up against Wake Forest?
Yeah, I feel great about it. And the reason I feel great about it is because of the offense that I just alluded to, because Paul has been Paul and so astronomically out of this world good. We've had a pretty good year from the mound, but because of some of the injuries and because of 2 speed bumps through the best conference in the country, there's this thought that we don't have a great pitching staff. I think we have a great pitching staff, and we have plenty of guys to execute in a way that can give us a chance to be successful. Feel great about it.
Okay, Mike, this will be our last question for Jay.
Yeah, what do you take away from that first game against Wake that you might be able to capitalize on tomorrow?
Yeah, they're legit. Going to have to go back and look at it again. When I saw this side of the bracket, and all 8 teams here are amazing. I said that before the tournament. Of the 3 times I've been here, this is the best field. There's the most good players and good pitchers of the times I've been in the College World Series. They're certainly part of that. I thought Hartle threw an outstanding game. I thought their pen was good. They have more guys that they can go to. Offense, they have their way, and they do their thing really, really well. So wouldn't want to be playing anybody else. I feel like the 4 best teams in the country are the 4 best teams still playing in Omaha right now.
Okay, Jay, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was Jay Johnson, Nate Ockenhausen, Dylan Cruz, and Riley Cooper as we kicked off the show with that press conference. LSU staving off elimination as they shut out the Tennessee Vols 5-0. Nate Ockenhausen, his first start of his career at LSU, had been a middle reliever, had done a great job during his year this season with an ERA under 3. And as you heard Coach reference, they'd only lost 1 game that he had pitched in all season long, but goes 7 strong innings, or excuse me, 6. Let me correct myself. 6 strong innings with 7 strikeouts. 6 strong innings, 7 strikeouts. Riley Cooper, the transfer from Arizona that played for Jay Johnson, comes on. He's been tremendous so far in Omaha and in the postseason. He goes 3 full innings to get the save. Only 2 arms used by LSU. And now they have faced Wake Forest, a daunting task of Coach Tom Walter and his squad. They will need just 1 win to get to the College World Series finals starting on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. But LSU going to have to win today. Very likely, I don't think we'll ask Sonny Shipp in a few minutes. Do you think we see Paul Skeens? I don't think we'll see him on 3 days rest. More than likely, we'll see Paul Skeens if LSU can force a game on Thursday. That would give Paul Skeens 4 full days rest since his 6-3 win when he went 7+ innings, nearly 8 innings against that same Tennessee team, and a 6-3 win for LSU. And I believe he punched out 12 guys. But again, LSU beating Tennessee for the 4th time in 5 games, a tremendous run for Coach Johnson, Jay Johnson's squad in his first appearance in Omaha for LSU. And the Final Four, 2 SEC teams now. LSU and Wake Forest will play tonight at 6, and then the 1 o'clock game today could potentially decide a finalist, as Florida will take on a really, really strong squad from the Big 12 and TCU and Kirk Saarloos. Saarloos pitched in the College World Series for Cal State Fullerton, I believe in 1999. He was the pitching coach under Jim Schlossnagle, has taken over that TCU program. They get the job done, winning 6-1 in an elimination game, once again beating Oral Roberts. So Oral Roberts' Coastal Carolina type story is over, though they had a hell of a year. And your Final Four right now are really 4 powerhouse programs that have been to Omaha many times over the last 5 to 10 years. as Schlossnagle took TCU to the World Series on multiple occasions before leaving for Texas A&M and getting A&M to the World Series last year, falling a little short in the regional at Stanford this season, but still Schlossnagle, a hell of a coach. Kirk Saarloos has taken that baton and continued to have TCU among the elite teams in college baseball, and they will have to beat a really talented Florida Gator squad that Kevin O'Sullivan has built. And I've been really impressed with Florida. They were my pick to win the World Series, but the Gators will be trying to knock out TCU tonight, and then LSU trying to stretch Wake Forest, who's had two really nice wins, a 3-2 come from behind win over Stanford and a 3-2 come from behind win over LSU. So Wake Forest's pitching is set up. Now, I thought Tennessee's was set up with Beam last night, but didn't work out. LSU stepped up, and that's what you need in this World Series when you're in the loser's bracket. Ockenhausen really did a great job and put up those zeros for the Tigers, and their offense started coming around. Dylan Cruz with the big home run late, and if he can get his bat going, LSU's going to be tough to handle. You heard Coach Johnson talking about the confidence in the offense, and they did it last night without Tommy White having a big game, certainly, but this is a very talented LSU offense. Cade Beloso got him on the board early with an RBI base hit. He did his job, no question about it. They've got other guys who are veterans on that squad, no doubt about it. And it's they've got a lot of confidence. With Trey Morgan, who can play multiple positions, first base, left field. He had 2 knocks last night. Gavin Dugas went 1 for 3. Beloso ended up with 3 hits, so he really led the way. So it's a great job for LSU and to get that win, that 5-0 win. And we're going to discuss that with Go 24/7 Sonny Ship. And Sonny Ship is going to join us when we come back. But before we go to break, don't forget our sponsor, Alumni Hall. That's in the Bridge Street Town Center. They for many years were just down from certainly from the Apple Store. Now they are next to Belk temporarily, and they'll be moving to their brand new location in the Bridge Street Town Center next to Buckle. It'll be their biggest square footage yet. They're going to add Tennessee to the repertoire. And then they can take care right now all of your Alabama and Auburn needs and have to for several years. So if you have that gift you need, I know we've already had Mother's Day, Father's Day, but there's still graduations, college graduations, high school. If you need to get somebody that gift that just graduated, if you need to get somebody a birthday present, no doubt about it, or just want to do something nice, they can and get ready for football season. It's going to be here before you know it, almost less than a month to SEC Media Days. Go see Andy and everyone over there to take care of your Alabama and your Auburn needs. They're also hiring, so you can go see them. Maybe you still need that summer job, so go see our friends at Alumni Hall. And don't forget they have an outstanding Hall Pass reward program. For every $150, they give you 10 free bucks. Also, very affordable shipping if you're ordering from out of state or if you want to send it to a friend. They have very affordable UPS shipping and then economy shipping, certainly. And if you spend over $100, it's shipped for free. So please check out our great friends over at Alumni Hall. And don't forget the Bandyman, Bailey Valerie, Captain Cool, John Abraham. They will bring you the afternoon blitz later today from 2 to 4. But speaking of LSU, we're going to talk to Sonny Ship next. Stay with us here on this Wednesday edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If your home needs updating or you have some projects that you just haven't gotten to, Eagle can help. They install shower doors, mirrors, shelving, blinds, bath hardware, and lots more. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money. These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, Eagle can insulate your home and help you save money with fiberglass, spray foam, and cellulose insulation, and can help you decide what's best for your project. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money. These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If you need masonry, brick, stone, or block work, Eagle should be your first call. They can even help if your property needs grading, erosion control, and Eagle can handle dirt haul-off. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. Taking care of your property yourself can be a real headache. Eagle can handle it for you. They offer full landscaping services, irrigation, mowing, bush hog, and can install plants and trees, sod, and even landscape borders. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
No one knows your Ford better than our factory-trained certified technicians, and that's a fact. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, letting you know about a one-time service promotion good through June 30th only. Starting at just $79.95 when you get the Works package for your vehicle. You buy the first one, the second one is on us. The Works package includes a synthetic blend oil change, tire rotation, vehicle checkup, and more. You buy the first one, the next one is on us, but only through June 30th. Schedule online today and come in to Woody Anderson Ford.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
What makes high school sports here in Alabama so special? They do. You do.
We all do.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Welcome back to the Blitz Sports Radio. I am D-Squared, Rudy Armand. As we're talking a lot of LSU baseball today, LSU, one of the Final Four. We expected this. I mean, with all the expectations on this squad in Jay Johnson's second season, no one is surprised that LSU is in the Final Four. I mean, some are probably surprised, including myself. I thought LSU, I picked them to beat Wake Forest. I thought they'd be one win away from the championship series, but they're two. And if any team is equipped to, still win two games and get to the finals starting on Saturday, it is the Bayou Bengals. If they get the pitching we saw last night, that's, of course, sans Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens has been amazing. The pitching staff at LSU behind him has been up and down. Jay Johnson certainly was talking about how he felt like it was really just a speed bump that they had in the SEC schedule. It's the best league in the country, and they've had some injuries, but they're getting guys back. So he's very confident that they can beat the number one team in the country, Wake Forest, twice to reach those finals. And we're going to break that all down with our next guest, one of the best in the business, one of my favorites, and that is Sonny Shipp, who's, of course, does a great job covering football, baseball, basketball, recruiting, everything, wears a lot of hats for Go 24/7, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, and he's going to join us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Sonny.
How you doing, fellas?
We're doing good, man. Thanks for joining us. How amazing was that performance, though, last night for LSU on the mound? Nate Ockenheisen, if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I've been trying to work on it. But I honestly know, I've watched this team play, but I haven't seen him pitch. But the thing that I took from it, from Jay in the post game, was that this is a guy that only lost one game he pitched in all year. He hadn't started, But the key from coming from East Oklahoma State is he was a starting pitcher in junior college. He certainly looked like he was ready for the moment last night, Sonny.
Yeah, and I think when you get in these situations in the College World Series where you've got to win, you've got to do some crazy feats. You've got to win like 3 games in 3 days,
right?
Or 5 games in 6 days. You've got to have somebody step up. It almost seems like when you go back and when you look at these teams, an unsung hero emerges. I thought Thatcher Hurd was going to be that guy. I think I mentioned this to you a few weeks ago when we had talked about this.
You did.
But I think now you got to look at Nate Ackenhausen and just say, wow, where did that come from?
Wow.
Because I've been watching this team all year. And, I always thought that, and I think most LSU fans looked at Nate Ackenhausen as, kind of like a Riley Cooper, a guy who can come in, who can give you some middle innings, who can maybe start a midweek game for you. Maybe if you get into a tournament-type situation, it's a guy you can trot out there. But to expect what he gave you last night, I mean, anything after the 3rd inning, I believe the announcer said it perfectly, that you want to get anything past 3 or 4 innings is you're just getting bonus time from Ackenhausen, because that's what Jay Johnson wanted to get from him. But to trot him out there time after time and Ackenhausen to respond like he did, I think, one thing, LSU may not beat Wake Forest and may not will go on to the CWS finals, but I think it's safe to say that Jay may have found him another weekend starter for next year.
Hey, that's another underrated part of it. This guy will very likely be returning, and you may have found one of your weekend guys, or at the very least a guy that can start midweek games. And don't even get me started about because midweek games are important. They're not SEC games, certainly. But again, midweek games are very important because they kept Alabama out of the tournament last year. And certainly the reason they are important is because pitchers develop over the season, and it's what you're talking about, Sonny. If you develop guys in the midweek, you're eventually going to need these dudes in the postseason, especially if you happen to fall into the losers bracket. And if you do, your pitching staff will be lengthened, and if you can get 3, 4, 5 innings out of a guy, or with Ackenhausen giving you an unexpected 6th with 7 punch-outs and I believe no walks, it can get you through a game that can help set you up to potentially win your way out of the losers bracket and get to a championship series or win a title.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at the pitching possibilities for last night, yesterday during the day, went through and looked at it. Christian Little had 8 starts under his belt. He also had the CWS experience in the finals from when he pitched at Vanderbilt. Forgive me. Javen Coleman, he had 3 starts under his belt. Riley Cooper had 3 starts under his belt. Blake Money had 2 starts under his belt. So when you started looking at guys who could get the nod, you started looking at those guys, and then all of a sudden it comes out that Ackenhausen is starting, and I was like, okay, did I miss something? I go back, no, goose egg under game started. I was like, okay, good. And so, is that a case of, was Jay trying to find a little bit of that CWS magic? Was that part of the reason that he tossed Ackenhausen out there? Probably a little bit of all of the above, because, you're trying to find whatever you can find to push your team over the top, to get them, back into this situation now to where instead of 3 games in 3 days, now you got to win 2 games in 2 days. So it doesn't sound quite as daunting of a task, but it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to go with tonight. I think everybody knows, and I think the college baseball world would be in for a treat if this gets to Thursday night.
Oh, that's what I've been talking about already.
You're not going to see Paul Skeens against the Louder kid.
Yeah,
2 of the best pitchers in college baseball.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, and you've got to believe. I don't think we'll see him tonight because it's 3 days rest. But if LSU, if they have someone else step up, and we'll ask you in a second who that could be in your mind, possibly. Yeah. But if LSU gets this win, Skeens has got to be taking the bump on Thursday, right?
I mean, I don't see any way that he's not. I don't see any way that he's not. I don't see any way that Louder's not taking the bump for Wake Forest. So how would you justify, Louder being okay to pitch on that same amount of rest, but not feeling good enough about Skeens. And Skeens being the competitor he is, and I was talking about this on on another radio show from here in Louisiana yesterday, and everyone was marveled at the ESPN analytics that they were tossing out and that they continue to toss out on Paul Skeens. I think it was 42 of his pitches hit 100 miles per hour in the first game against Tennessee on Saturday. And they were just talking about how he continues to do things that just we didn't think, I don't think anybody thought was really possible going into this season when he came over from Air Force. And he always talks about how well he takes care of his body, how the nutrition, the rest, and how everything he does in preparation allows him to be able to go out and to do that. So my question, I guess a question that I have, and I'm not as familiar with the arm science behind baseball and with pitching and recovery time and things like that. But and I could be totally stupid for thinking this, but it seems like that if he is able to go out and if he is able to do things that people are just scratching their head about how is he able to do, and he puts so much focus and energy into taking care of his body and to knowing what his body can do. I don't think there's any way that Paul Skeens could go to Jay Johnson and say, Jay, I'm just not really feeling good, man, on Thursday. So if his body if he's able to do these things that some consider extraordinary, it seems like that your recuperation and recovery process would probably be extraordinary too, huh? Or am I trying to connect too many dots, you think?
Look, man, I've been amazed just watching Skeens anyway, because I couldn't believe the first thing I asked when he became the hottest name in the transfer portal last year is how in the blue blazes did he end up at Air Force? And I mean, it's no disrespect to Air Force, but an arm like that, then you find out he wasn't even really signed as a pitcher. He was signed as a catcher. And it's just amazing. That's how some of these kids are late bloomers. They're overlooked. Of course, he wanted to serve his country, but then he made a wise business decision. I mean, the kid can throw 100 miles an hour. You're talking about his otherworldly abilities, almost like I know the back in my very early youth, the $6 Million Man. Is that what I think I was called again? But I mean, it's almost like something like that. Like this kid is.
Nolan Ryan.
Or a Nolan Ryan. Like you remember the days when.
Guy's the closest thing, and I thought Roger Clemens was probably the closest thing to Nolan Ryan.
Right.
From watching baseball over all the years and stuff like that. Now I'm thinking Paul Skeens might be the closest thing that we'll ever see to Nolan Ryan.
Man, I'll never forget being a middle school kid and watching him pitch, going over to my great uncle's house across the street from my grandmother's. And this is Nolan Ryan. I think he was 45 years old, Sonny, and he threw a no-hitter. And you start hearing about it on the radio, and you're like, "Oh man, I got to go watch this." And the guy's throwing like 98 miles an hour, and it's amazing because you see all these arm injuries now, this day and time. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sonny. I don't think Nolan had much arm trouble at all in his career.
I don't think he did, and he threw more innings than anybody else. But and I was a huge Astros fan growing up. Still a big Astros fan. So I can go back to the years of Nolan and J.R. Richard and all those guys with the Stros and stuff when the Stros were horrible. And it was absolutely and I can remember as a kid being marveled at this. You watch Nolan throw one night, and then the next night you come back and you watch Joe Negro throw.
Yeah, what a contrast.
You're watching nothing but fastballs with Nolan, and then you come back and you're watching the knuckleball the next day. I can't imagine what that had to do to batters. That such a drastic in velocity and movement and things like that. But getting back on the topic of Paul Skeens and and what you could potentially look at Thursday night. Before we can get there, obviously you got to get to tomorrow night. And I don't know what you had mentioned this before, but I really don't know what Jay's going to be thinking because you've got. If you're looking at just who has the most starts, obviously Christian Little's got those midweek starts.
He
and,
does.
A couple of innings here, a couple of innings there. But I think if you're looking at all of the potential possibilities right now, Jaden Coleman is probably got the guy that I go back to. Just a guy that that before he got hurt, before he had his arm injury a couple of years ago, he was a guy that they penciled in as a starter, had a lot of starting experience coming out of high school and stuff, obviously. And I don't know, I just don't know if you have enough confidence in Christian Little to trot him out there. Blake Money's another guy, a big right-hander, started a couple of games this year. Is he a guy that you trot out there? Do you do what Jay just did, and do you throw out one of your Bryce Collins or Sam Duttons, guys who have had little relief action just to try to get Wake Forest thinking a little bit? I really don't know what he's going to do, but I think when you look at the possibilities, I don't think there's any way you could use Skeens tonight. I just don't, even if it's for an inning, because if you would, then you're basically taking him out of the equation for tomorrow night. And so, obviously Ty Floyd, Thatcher Hurd threw, I want to say 56 pitches on Monday against Wake Forest. Is he a guy who could potentially give you 10, 15, 20 pitches in a tight situation? Maybe. Obviously, you have Gavin Guidry. Gavin Guidry's another guy. He's a guy who started one game. He's kind of been your closer since the SEC tournament. But does Jay throw him out there as a curveball to get out there against Wake Forest? He does throw a lot of curveballs. He does have a good curveball. And so, is that something that he looks at to maybe try to offset the, Wake's, all the power that Wake has throughout that lineup? So it's going to be really interesting to see who he does trot out there.
Well, and then a lot of it may depend on the flow of the game. Like if LSU comes out and is aggressive and maybe has a 3 or 4 run first inning, then you might be able to settle everybody down, because it was good to see Cruz. I know he's been moved to the leadoff spot, but he got a big home run last night. Beloso had 3 hits. Trey Morgan had a couple. And so if this LSU – and they did it without Tommy White having a big game. If they can get a big, offensive night from LSU, and I don't think that's out of the question, because, again, Wake Forest is going to be – I know their pitching staff has an under 3 ERA. They're going with their number 3 guy tonight. But if LSU starts it off and can build a lead, then it might make it a little bit easier on Jay and some of the decisions he has to make on the mound.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think so too. And then I think also, you kind of have to look at it to where, if you're going to throw Paul Skeens tomorrow night, if he knows he's going to throw Skeens tomorrow night, if he gets to Thursday night, you just do whatever you have to do to get to that Thursday night game. And then, you go into that one of saying, okay, we can get at least 7 out of Paul. So now we only have to try to piece together these 2 innings right here. So we thought that we were going to see a all hands on deck approach last night that LSU thankfully didn't need. They were able to just stick with the two lefties last night. And so now going into the day, at least you do have that full reservoir of arms that you can go to, and you didn't have to use 5 of them last night. So, I think that, I don't want to say I think, because I don't have – Jay's got a lot more experience coaching baseball and managing a baseball team than my 7U and 8U experience with my son's teams. But, I imagine going into this one right here that he's probably, looking at it with that situation of, okay, if we had 9 arms that could go yesterday, let's say we got 8 that can throw today. If we got to use 8, we're using 8.
Yeah, it's Johnny Holstaff, except for Skeens.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think so. Like you said, you got to have that ace in the hole to have Paul Skeens. Probably Riley Cooper will not be available either. But Cooper, he's a pretty amazing rubber arm. He transferred from Arizona with Jay Johnson, and he's certainly been probably along with Dugas. Guidry. Pardon me. I think Guidry's been good down the stretch as a closer, but Cooper's been as reliable as anyone out of that bullpen late.
I think outside of Paul Skeens, when you talk about reliability, I think probably outside of Paul Skeens, Riley Cooper is that guy. Riley Cooper is that guy that, if you put on the mound, that you probably have the most sense of comfort with Cooper. Obviously 6'2", 280 pounds. He's, he doesn't he doesn't look like when he's walking out of the bullpen, he's not a guy who's like, okay, this guy looks, this guy's imposing. But he certainly, he is crafty, and he certainly can get the ball, put the ball where he wants to put it. And I just love that. And I think that from a fan's perspective, that you just really have to love the I don't know if gusto is the word for it, but he's just one of those guys that when you look at him, you don't expect to really see what you get, and then you just get so much more.
That's a great point. And he certainly is seemed built for the moment. And as Jay Johnson said, very comfortable pitching at Charles Schwab Field, and did a great job last night getting the save and finishing the game and allowing LSU to rest the rest of their pitching staff because, again, when you're able to only use 2 arms, that couldn't have worked out any more perfect for LSU. They win it 5-0. But offensively, what did you like that you saw out of them that you think could translate tonight? Wake's got a great pitching staff, but certainly we already mentioned Dylan Cruz. But I would think, though, they need to get Tommy White going tonight.
Yeah, there's so much talk about Wake Forest and how many home runs they hit and stuff, to where, you go into this one right here and you say, okay, you hope the wind's not blowing out. But then again, from an LSU perspective, LSU may not have as many home runs as Wake, but I think LSU, when you go through that lineup, Trey Morgan, Gavin Dugoff, Travinsky's in the lineup, if he's hitting the ball between Jobert, Beloso, Cruz, White, you got a lot of guys who can take it out of the yard. So I think if you're LSU and if you're going to win this game, you're going to have to score some runs. So I think, you say, okay, you know what? Let's go best against best. You can hit the ball far, or we can hit the ball far. Let's see who can hit more balls the farthest. And and that's what it's going to take. I don't think LSU can go into this one and win another game like they won last night. I think they're going to have to. You mentioned it earlier. I think they're going to have to jump out early. They're going to have to get some momentum going, and then they're just going to have to. They're just going to have to try to match Wake's offensive output, and I think LSU can do that. I don't think you're looking at a situation to where you're comparing one team that hits bombs to another one that hits some home runs, but not a lot. I mean, I think you're looking at two heavyweights right here, and let's just go best against best, and let's see who let the wind do what it's going to do, but I do think that if the wind is going out tonight, that it will give LSU a better chance.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question, because I think both of them are talented offenses, no doubt, and I know it wouldn't shock me at all especially if. And I'm like you. I'm on the same wavelength. With Coleman's experience, I know he's been hurt and he's come back from an injury, but I just think he's probably the guy that I would go with on the mound tonight, and then just see how far he can get you. If he gets you through 3 innings, great. But if he doesn't run into any trouble, if you can get 5 innings out of him, that would be similar to what we saw last night, where they got 6 and got deep into the game. But if you can get 4 or 5 innings out of the starter tonight, like a Javen Coleman, that would be huge for LSU.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think if LSU has to go through this game to where their starter doesn't get out of the, doesn't get them into the, it doesn't get them into the 3rd or into the 4th inning, then I think it's going to be a long night, because if they have to go through 6, 7 pitchers tonight just to be able to get to, to get to that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, to be able to have a chance tonight, I think that's going to be really, really tough. I think that that for them, that coming out and getting some runs on the board early. You mentioned Dylan Cruz. He had that one shot, that one bomb last night. Could have had another one. I mean, he hit it to the deepest part of the park with the wind blowing in. So he got the barrel. He got the barrel of the bat on the ball pretty good. But what you need from, I think, when you have the, and I hate to say deficiencies, but when your back is up against the wall and your pitching staff is the way that it is right now, then you've got to come out and you've got to get them some runs. You've got to get some momentum going for them. The stars for LSU have to play like stars. Dylan Cruz, a 1-for-5 night, it's probably not going to get you. It's probably not unless it's a grand slam in the ninth inning or whatever, But a 1-for-5 night, you need Dylan Cruz, you need Trey Morgan, you need Tommy White. You need those guys to be able to get on base and to be able to set the tone. And I'm sorry, Alex Milazzo, I loved seeing him in the lineup last night. I thought he was good for Ackenhausen with the curveballs and putting the balls in the dirt and stuff like that. But I don't think there's any way you can go into this game right here and not have Hayden Travinsky as your catcher.
Well, that's great.
Any offensive firepower that you can get, I think you've got to have in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm going to be a little selfish here. I want to see an LSU win just to see Louder and Skeens face off against each other. I mean,
hey man, when there's an Alabama guy saying that, I love hearing that.
No, I love college baseball, man. You want to see these dudes.
And I'm not calling you an Alabama homer or anything like that.
No.
I'm just saying when someone from Alabama wants to see LSU win, Tiger fans like to hear that.
No doubt. Well, Sonny, we appreciate the time, man, and the insight and knowledge. Let everybody know how to follow Go 24/7's coverage tonight.
Yeah, for those LSU fans out there, come check us out. Go 24/7 GEAUX247.com. We got our guy Glenn West out in Omaha right now covering the Tigers. He's going on about a week there, so I'm anxious to see. I told him that for every day he's out there, he better hit double digits on them Jello shots. So I'm waiting to see what that final tally is while he's out there.
I saw
so give us a follow and check us out.
No doubt. I saw Ben's video. Ben McDonald, 21,000. Somebody bought 6. I was like, wow, LSU's really taking this to another level.
24,000 now.
Is it? Wow, this was a couple of days ago.
Now.
Oh, wow.
I think it hit 20. I think it flipped over to 24,000 either last night or this morning.
Well, great stuff. Enjoy the game tonight, Sonny, and we always appreciate your time, man. Thanks.
Hey, you too, man. And y'all have a great rest of the week.
That's Sonny Shipp. We're going to go on a break and wrap up this edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I'm D Squared.
The Blitz has been called.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seed, managing partner of University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Crimson Tide football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com for all our great offers. And get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide!
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Welcome back. We're wrapping up this Wednesday edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. Big thanks to Sonny Shipp, Go 24/7, talking about that game tonight. Don't forget, it's a little after 6, Wake Forest, number 1 team in America, taking on LSU, the preseason number 1 team in the country, as the Tigers will be trying to get to Thursday, and we think Paul Skeens and Rhett Louder, they are the 2 of the better pitchers, maybe the 2 best pitchers in college baseball. Louder I think he has not lost. I think he's 15-0, and really, I don't know if he got the win. I should have double-checked that. I think he was 14-0 going into certainly the game against LSU, but he's been unbeaten all year, and certainly Paul Skeens is an outstanding arm and should be the number 1 overall pick for LSU. We were just talking about him. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. If they can get to Thursday, before that, LSU has to win tonight at a little after 6 in Omaha against number 1 Wake Forest. Before that, it'll be TCU in Florida. So we may have our finals matchup set up after tonight, or we may have a couple of, if necessary, games. We'll keep you updated on that. Don't forget the afternoon blitz, the man-to-man Bailey Lowry, Captain Cool John Abraham from 2 to 4. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m., everybody.
When I played high school